Welcome to the Coffee Journeys show, hosted by me, Piotr Zagorowski, author of the Coffee Journeys blog. In this show, I'll be sharing my journey from being a technical person to a leader and discussing topics such as leadership, technology, and intentional living. I'll be sharing my unique perspective and insights and offering guidance on how to develop the skills and mindset needed to succeed in today's world. Whether you're an aspiring leader, a technology enthusiast, or simply looking to learn more about the world around you, this podcast is for you. So, join me for the engaging and thought-provoking conversations on leadership, technology, and intentional living on the Coffee Journeys show. Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It depends where and when you listen to it. Today, it's a special episode. This episode is an outcome of my conversation with my friend. He's got his daughter. She is in 20s, and me and my friend was chatting about some advices that we would be giving to ourselves when we were in our 20s. In other words, we are now not young cookies. We have some experience. We have 20 plus professional experiences. We live enough to go through a lot of things. And what we could advise to young people who are earlier in their career, who are young and try to basically start the career and start their experiences in life. So let's dive in. First of all, we need to acknowledge, if you're young, early in your career, it's natural to feel overwhelmed by choices and decisions ahead of you. This is normal. Everyone went through it. And this is something that you should not be afraid. You should be basically listening to advices of people, of your mentors, of your parents, of your older friends, but listen to your heart. So with that, I'm going to give you 9 advices that I would give to myself when I was in my 20s. Advice number 1. Pursue your passions outside of school. Don't limit yourself to subjects you study in school. We have certain curriculum in school. It may change, may not change. And sometimes you may not be excited what you are learning or exploring or finding at school. You should not limit yourself to what you're finding there. Take some courses, read some books, find online courses, and basically try to find your passion outside of school if you cannot find it in school. How you can do it? I already mentioned it. Take some course or attend workshop outside of school. Do some after-school clubs. Find some passion outside. Maybe read some books, watch documentaries. Basically, relate to your interest and try to find your interest by doing it. And finally, you can join online communities or forums. It's an old thing, but they are still active, where you can connect with other people that share the same interest to find some deeper connections. And that leads us to next advice, which is develop a side project. Having a side project can not only be personally fulfilling, but also can add depth to your CV and generate some income, for example. Think of something that genuinely interests you and find a way to apply it to the real world. Maybe you enjoy photography, so maybe you can start taking photos, buy some used camera, or even do it with your phone. I mean, nowadays phones are super powerful. Maybe you can start blog or some forums, basically showcase. Maybe you are good at making jewelry or some other craft. Basically pursue your passion through side projects. So how you can start? Choose a hobby or skill that you can enjoy and find a way to monetize it. Maybe you can offer some services for free or at discount to build your portfolio and gain experiences. Finally, you can attend networking events or even join groups related to the side projects to connect with others in the industry or in this area of your interest. And that again leads to another advice: to network and reach out to everyone. Networking is the key to building successful career. And you should not limit yourself to people in your immediate circle. You should aim high. And I will give you my personal example. I was inspired to do podcasts by two people. One was Tim Ferriss, which is obviously a big name, probably the most successful podcaster in interwebs, and some other Polish podcaster. Both of them have famous, quote-unquote, people on their podcast. And I was wondering, they need to know all these people. How do they do it? And so on and so on. And they actually shared with some of their podcasts or their interviews how they do it. They basically didn't limit themselves to people they knew. They knew how to find people, how to find contact details. And in old days, it was super difficult. You would need to write a letter with snail mail. You would need to go, if it was book author or anything, you would need to go to meet in person. There was hundreds of people there. There was low chance that you would meet this person in person, basically. But nowadays, in interwebs, you can just send email and you can just fill the contact form and send communication. And it's quite easy. So you should have your list and you should aim high to reach to, CEOs, entrepreneurs, alumni, and everyone else who inspires you. Make a list, email the person, and try to connect. Don't be discouraged if they don't reply or say no. This is part of the game, and you should be doing it. I mentioned that they can say no. This is basically the worst that can happen, right? You send email, you talk to people on Communicator and they don't reply, they say no. So the next advice is about failure. Failure is part of the process and you should embrace it. Don't be afraid to fail. The road to success is paved with failures. And sometimes you just see people who are successful, and again, quote unquote, everyone defines success differently, but you should see people who are happy, who are successful, who progress their career the way that you would like to progress, but you see them on top of the mountain. What you don't see is how they started climbing this mountain. And I will tell you, their path is full of failures. But we shouldn't talk about failures, we should talk about learnings. I know that's cliché, but basically, if you implement retrospective mindset, you will not see failures, you will see learnings or something that makes you closer or takes you closer to your success, however you define success. All these failures will progress you towards your goals. How you can help yourself? You can challenge yourself to try new things, even if you're not sure you are going to be successful. Maybe you can celebrate small wins and use failures as an opportunity to learn and grow. I mentioned it, retrospective mindset. And finally, surround yourself with people who support you and provide constructive feedback and help you learn. And that leads us to another advice, which is seek advice from successful people. I mentioned surrounding yourself with people who support you, but you should also surround yourself with people who are successful or who are further down the path of your path of choice. Let me explain. While your friends and family have your best interests at heart, they may not understand your specific career goals. So you should seek advice from people who have already achieved what you want for yourself. They can provide invaluable guidance and mentorship on how to achieve your goals and things that you want to progress. How to do it? Identify people who have achieved success in areas you are interested in. You can use LinkedIn, you can use blogs, you can use podcasts, and so on. Find out people who you think are in the place where you are going and try to surround yourself with them. Research their backgrounds, career paths, gain some insights, listen to podcasts, read some interviews with them, or finally reach out to them and ask them for mentorship. And again, that leads us to another advice, which is advocate for yourself. To get where you want to be in your career, you need to be vocal and advocate for yourself. If you need a job, let people know that you need a job. I'm looking for a job. LinkedIn has nice feature that you can mark yourself as open to hire. You can also network to people, let them know. If you want a raise because you already have a job, ask your manager. He will not guess. Sometimes there are cycles and you will be part of the cycle and you will receive rise. However, if you don't ask, people will not know that it is important for you. The same with promotion. If you want promotion, you feel like you are ready for promotion, tell up the chain of command. They may give you something. They will certainly acknowledge and be aware of it and try to give you something. Again, don't be afraid to speak up and ask for what you want. The squeaky wheel gets the grease. How you can do it? Don't be afraid to advocate for yourself in the workplace. Ask for feedback on your work to use it to improve, and be proactive in seeking out the new opportunities and responsibilities. Now, advice on new opportunities. Prioritize experience over money. In your 20s, you will need to prioritize to gain experience, to cast the net wide. You will probably not be having enough experience to make a lot of money, although I know that people nowadays, even in their 20s, they can make a lot of money. But in my opinion, you should not chase money. You should gain experience, and you should aim to gain experience when you try to, change job or look for side projects or look for voluntary projects. Experience is what you're gaining in your 20s. This is my opinion. This is also opinion of some other folks. You just need to learn, network, and develop your skills, and money will come later when you gain experience and apply this experience to your job. How you can do it? Look for internships or voluntary opportunities in your desired industry to gain this experience. Seek out mentors who can provide guidance and support you and navigate through your career. And also be willing to take on lower paying roles, but that will offer you valuable experience and opportunities. This is absolutely critical. You optimizing for growth and experience gaining rather than for money. This is just my opinion, but I think it makes sense. Advice number 8. Be the most helpful person in the room. What I mean by that? You will probably not be able to be the smartest person in the room. It's not the stage. And also another saying says that if you're the smartest person, you should change your job. But that's not about this. You're optimizing for being the most helpful. You don't have capital yet to spend in your wisdom, but what you can offer your help. The more you give to others, the more social capital you build. When you give freely, often it will come back tenfold. Be generous with your time, knowledge, resources, whatever you already gain, whatever you already know, offer it to others to build valuable relationships, mentorship, and this will help you along with your career journey. How to do it? Look for ways to help your coworkers or classmates, whether it's offering to assist with a project or sharing your experience or whatever you gain, you can offer it to others. Give what you take. What else you can do? You can take leadership roles in clubs, organizations. You can build relationship and you can offer your leadership and learn your leadership in these organizations. You can also attend events and conferences where you can meet others in your industry and offer to assist them something in any way you can. And finally, remember, if you do all of it, meaning that you seek something outside of your school, you open a side project, side gig, and so on, you are helpful, you're attending conferences, you do a lot of things. But remember to work hard, but don't sacrifice your health and your life. Working hard is important, don't get me wrong, but it cannot be at the expense of your personal life and health. Don't burn out, especially as a young person, and don't neglect your health. Your body will accumulate. If you're spending 16 hours in front of your computer, even if you do what you love, at some point it may break you. So remember, always optimize for healthy work-life balance on one side. On the other side, get to habit of taking care of yourself and taking care of your health. Prioritize self-care and set boundaries to avoid burnout. Make time for hobbies and socializing to maintain a healthy work-life balance. And practice time management in the very beginning of your career to focus on being productive during work hours to avoid working late or on weekends. And that's wrap up, although I will give you one bonus advice, which basically summarizes a lot of these things that we've been talking here. You are the owner of your life and you are the owner of your career. In other words, you are in charge of your life and charge of your career. People may mentor you, people may give you advices, people may record podcasts about it, you can listen to it, but in the end, you need to do the work and you need to choose what applies to you. So you take full ownership of your career path, you need to be proactive, you need to set your goals, you need to make plans and achieve them. You can research companies, industries before accepting any job offers. It's possible now. There's a lot of tools, but you will have to do this work. And finally, you can continuously seek out opportunities for growth and development, whether it's through education, networking, or volunteering. It's up to you. So remember, if people tell you you are not worth it, you cannot do it, I'm telling you, you totally can do it. You are in charge of your life and you are the CEO of your career and your trajectory of your life. So good luck with it. If you can talk about any of these points or any topics that bothering you in the beginning of your career, you can reach out to me on hey@coffeejourneys.blog. You can find me on Twitter or you can find me on my blog, coffeejourneys.blog/about. Ping me, we can talk, we can schedule call, and I will try to share whatever I know. It's dear to my heart, so you're successful, because I believe in sharing knowledge and I believe that we should help each other. So don't hesitate, reach out to me, and good luck. You can do it. You are totally worth it. And this is all I have for you today. I value feedback a lot. That's why I ask you to review my podcast in your favorite podcasting platform and give it as many stars as you think it deserves. By doing so, this podcast is going to be more visible and I can reach more people to provide value. And before you go, if you would like to join the community of people who are determined to help each other and grow together, join my newsletter at coffeejourneys.blog/newsletter. Thanks for tuning in today, and until next time, have a great